Right now we're going through a process for the construction of the wells because there's a lot of activity of chase and underwater work. We're trying to stay close to the original film's design and what did the well look like.
There is something spooky about being it, even though it's not completely real and you've got it only half of it showing and then the rest of it's just the set, but just the feeling of claustrophobia. It's just being wet. It's a couple of weeks, all that grime, and they heated it and everything. They made the water warm.
Here I am, Samara. Just like you wanted.
We have her on a wire rig. I have one guy in front of a monitor that's watching her every move, all of her hand moves, so we can try and match every pull she does on the rock or every foot placement she gets to make it look as real as possible.
Let me have just a tiny bit slower version.
Okay.
Yeah. In this movie, we felt like maybe we need something more when Rachel goes into the well and chased by Samara. How to achieve it, maybe CGI Samara, but I felt maybe it wouldn't work in this movie. So Samara in the well was performed by a contortionist.
Deer sequence went through a procedure to define the action. Because the story is one thing and how you get the activity in front of camera is another.
Rachel!
We built a little miniature road with little trees and we had little dolls and, little parts and cars. Put cameras inside them when you try to figure out how does the camera fit into it so that you actually see what you want to see. That becomes sort of the design work.
Action!
It was all about looking in these places where there was nothing there, and it's difficult, and that's where you really have to tap into your imagination and trust the director.
Yeah, timing was right. In early stage of pre-production, there was a discussion, maybe we could use the real deer.
Deer are not very easily trained, and even if they were, you can't really make them hit cars.
A lot of the deer are CG deer, but when they interact with the car, then we would step in on the physical side and try to get the physical elements to match. So we took the Volkswagen Jetta and tried to make it look like what happens to a car when you have some irate deers running over top of you.
We have a model deer that gives the actors an eye line to look at, something that they can react to and really get the feeling that they are being surrounded by mysterious creatures. That deer will also act as a little bit of our model for how the deer will look.
It becomes a very big moment and very scary.
Scene 111 Mary, take 3. Camera, mark.
The water falling into the bathroom is normally a fairly simple thing. For us, it got more complicated just because we decided visually it required particular engineering. We did a series of tests with the upside-down bathroom to try to find a look for the water. And in the process, I built a mock-up of it where we literally took a tub upside down and put my son Pete in a harness that he built and then tried different film rates. And at around 96 frames a second on the cameras, you got a very nice, creepy, interesting look. Water is a performer in this show, so in creating the effects to it, we built an upside-down set where we flooded the ceiling in a sort of a small pool.
The special effect team invented a very special shower machine.
Where we built a series of 7 dump tanks on latch relay timers that would sequence from one end of the room to the other, and that way you got a progression of water so that you got to see the talent and the effect before the effect wiped their image away from the camera.
That scene becomes one of the most impressive scenes.
You know, it's only a third of a second, but it's a big third of a second visually.
Ada, look at me.